Let me bring in Shiv Sena MP Milind Deora now. He's part of the delegation being led by Dr. Shashi Tharoor. This is the delegation which is going to US and South and North America. Mr. Deora, welcome to NDTV.
Thank you.
Former Foreign Minister of Pakistan and Chairman of PPP, Bilawal Bhutto, is leading a copycat delegation to bolster Pakistan's narrative. How will India counter Pakistan's outreach effort, which will be about distorting facts?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me here. I don't think the Indian delegation going to any country is particularly concerned about Bilawal Bhutto's visit on behalf of the country of Pakistan. So I think moving beyond this hyphenation, Maria, while we certainly will be traveling to different countries, MPs cutting across parties to speak in one united voice and to expose Pakistan for what it is, let's be very clear and let's be very honest and candid about one thing. The entire world, from America to Asia, knows very well that Pakistan is a rogue, failed state. Its economy is on the brink if it hasn't already collapsed. It's a terrorist exporting state. Unlike most countries where the people of that country elect a civilian government who then oversee an army, in Pakistan, it's the other way around. It's an army that oversees a civilian government. So Pakistan has no credibility left. Unfortunately, people like Bilawal Bhutto, who I would say are young politicians, young leaders, rather than going and narrating what the script that's been handed to them by those who really control the reins of power, if people like him actually helped strengthen their country's economy, restored faith in the civilian government, brought about democracy in that country, upheld pluralistic values, Pakistan would be a very different country. So Pakistan is a self-inflicted wound. There's not much that we can do to tell people about Pakistan. The world already knows that Pakistan is a serious problem. I think for us, the larger message that will come out of these delegations to different countries, led by 7 different groups, is that India and India's polity speaks in one voice. All politicians cutting across each and every party in this country have come together. The ultimate goal is Pakistan is a failed state. Everyone knows about that. There's not much to be said about Pakistan. I said that if young people like Bilawal Bhutto focused on reviving the country's domestic agenda, on reviving the country's economy, doing good for the country, it would help us have a stable neighbor. But they have a different agenda, so nobody's really concerned about what he's going to say. But ultimately, our aim is to reaffirm India's belief in counterterrorism, our support for counterterrorism globally, and more importantly, Maria, to do that with one voice. That's something which is very, very critical. And I would congratulate the government for thinking about this initiative, for bringing people across political parties, across communities, across states, regional parties, national parties, southern parties, eastern parties, northeastern MPs. So essentially, the entire flavor of India speaking in one voice, that on the issue of counter-terrorism, we are united and we will not allow failed states that use the nuclear deterrent as a form of blackmail, as a form of spreading terrorism, to prevent us from doing what we need to do to retaliate.
Okay. Milind, we have put one picture of yours, and this is from a tweet. I can see it is perhaps 2022. This is you interacting with Donald Trump Jr. And of course, this was about real estate and other supply chain issues. And you go on to write that Trump family holds a special place for India in their hearts. There is a very critical aspect here of personal equations which can be at play. Do you think it's important right now? Because personal equations can bolster good diplomatic outreach.
Well, firstly, Maria, I'm going on a government delegation. So my primary duty is to perform on behalf of the country, on behalf of the government of India. As I said, in a bipartisan, multi-partisan way. When I visit the United States, which is the last out of 5 countries that I will be traveling to, It will be ultimately left to the Indian ambassador in Washington, D.C. to determine what the program looks like. And I'm sure we'll meet people from government, from members of the Senate, members of Congress, and people on Capitol Hill, perhaps think tanks, business leaders. But this relationship is a personal relationship. This relationship that I have with him is through a very close friend of mine in India. And I do fundamentally believe that President Trump understands the growing importance of India, strategically, economically, politically. That's why during his tenure, especially his first presidency, the Quad, which is India, Australia, America, and Japan, was strengthened considerably. So I have no doubt that at the right level, which is at the G2G level, at the MEA in India to the State Department level, those issues will be resolved. If there has been any issue with regards to some form of communication which has led to certain murmurs, I'm sure that will be dealt with at a diplomatic level. But whatever I can do at a personal level, of course, I'm always there to do that for India. My late father, Maria, as you probably knew, was one of the early proponents of India strengthening ties with the US. And it took a man like him and many others cutting across parties in India and in the United States, almost 30 years to reach where we are today, where there is not just at a political level, not just in New Delhi, not just in Raisina Hill and in Capitol Hill, but on the streets of Mumbai, on the streets of New York City, on the streets of Delhi, on the streets of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
People overwhelmingly believe that these two countries, their destinies are intertwined. And therefore, any issue that may have arisen in the last few weeks, I'm sure will not retard that progress that has been made in the last 30 years.
All right, Milind Deora, I really appreciate your time. Wishing you all the best as you embark on your journey to US and other countries.